Why is Jungkook suddenly the center of a viral storm on X? The 19-second clip that praises him, but secretly attacks another idol, as fans split worldwide. Jakarta, November 25, 2025. What if a single 19-second clip could ignite admiration, controversy, emotional breakdowns, fan wars, and a full-blown global debate about what it truly means to be a real idol? What if a video meant to celebrate someone ended up exposing the deepest insecurities of an entire fandom culture? And more importantly, why is Jungkook, fresh from military service, still carrying the quiet warmth of a humble superstar, yet again at the center of a viral fire he never started? These are the questions flooding timelines across the world today after a post from the account at @starboygens exploded on the platform X, formerly Twitter, reshaping conversations from Seoul to Sao Paulo, from Tokyo to Los Angeles, and, according to Indonesian trends, dominating Jakarta's feeds like a digital tidal wave. The post, uploaded on November 24th, showcases a compilation of candid Jungkook moments, him washing dishes, cooking shrimp, smiling wide, wandering around his kitchen, and casually interacting with fans through what appears to be fragments of his private live broadcast. At first glance, nothing seems out of place. It's Jungkook being Jungkook, warm, natural, expressive, and surprisingly unfiltered for someone of his global stature. But as always in the K-pop universe, the calm is never just calm. There is always a twist, a spark. A sentence capable of turning admiration into conflict. In this case, that spark came in the caption. The viral post read, "Jungkook cooked, ate, worked out, played games, watched Netflix, sleeping, dancing, washing dishes, held mini concert, even made a song for his fans." He is one of the only celebrities who had a genuine friendship with fans, but some PPL try to ruin that since they stand a boring doll. It was that last word, boring doll, that transformed a sweet tribute into a cultural earthquake. Across X, the term immediately triggered interpretations, suspicions, accusations, and endless speculation about which idol the user was indirectly attacking. Fans instantly recognized the tone, a compliment wrapped in a subtle jab, an uplifting message delivered with the precision of a knife, and the internet reacted exactly as expected, chaotically. Within less than 24 hours, the post reached over 4,000 likes, 629 reposts, and 39,000 views, with numbers continuing to skyrocket as ARMY, the global fanbase of BTS, attempted to either amplify the praise or defend Jungkook from backlash. Because the truth is, even praise can become dangerous in K-pop spaces when it is paired with comparison. But why did this simple clip become so explosive? Why did the word boring doll cause such emotional detonation? And what does this say about the increasingly fragile dynamics within global fandoms? To understand that, we must revisit who Jungkook is and why the internet reacts to him the way it does. Jungkook, known worldwide as the golden magne of BTS, has long held a reputation as one of the only mega celebrities who consistently shares unscripted moments of his life with fans. Before the military hiatus, he streamed himself cooking late at night, working out, singing impromptu mini-concerts, dancing, watching Netflix, writing songs, and doing everything in between. After completing his mandatory service, he returned with the same openness, the same warmth that fans adored, making them feel like they weren't just watching an idol, they were spending time with a friend. And that is precisely what @starboygens referenced, Jungkook's genuine friendship with fans. But then came the insinuation that other idols, who do not show their private lives as freely, are boring dolls. Immediately, the comments split into two worlds. Supportive fans celebrated the clip, echoing similar sentiments. The user @SejoyS54144 simply wrote, "That's true," accompanied by images expressing full agreement. Another user @Honeybee503 delivered an emotional and furious defense. "He is truly amazing, and I'd like to slap the idiots who stalk him and potentially cause him to want to not interact as much. He freely shares with us so many aspects of his life, so leave him alone when he needs or wants his privacy." Their frustration reflects a deep concern that online hate, obsessive behavior, or constant scrutiny could push Jungkook to withdraw, something fans fear more than anything. But not all reactions supported the message. The opposition, equally fierce, accused the post of creating unnecessary negativity. User Athlete0515 called it ridiculous and immature, saying, "He is special no doubt, but it doesn't make the others less appreciative of ARMY. They say it all the time, but people do and feel things in different ways. Stop making everything a competition and spreading negativity." Another user, @cat2849667, lamented how something intended to celebrate Jungkook's warmth became a vehicle of bitterness, spreading hate like butter on your toast. Their frustration was palpable and understandable, because the reality is this: fandoms have become dangerously polarized, often treating vulnerability as content, silence as disrespect, and differences in personality as flaws. And Jungkook, ironically by being his most authentic self, has become both a beloved figure and an unwilling symbol of comparison. This debate raises a bigger question: has the demand for constant fan-idol interaction created an unhealthy competition between artists who simply have different ways of expressing themselves? But the controversy doesn't stop there. The post also reignited discussions about privacy, boundaries, parasocial relationships, and the pressures placed on idols to overshare. Fans cherish Jungkook's transparency, but others argue it should not be weaponized to diminish those who prefer privacy. Many point out that every idol navigates fame differently. Some prefer quiet, some prefer chaos, some prefer routines, and some prefer secrecy. But as always, nuances get lost when emotions rise, especially emotions tied to K-pop, identity, pride, and loyalty. Though HYB, Jungkook's agency, has not released any statement, the silence only fuels more speculation. Will they respond? Should they respond? Or is this simply another moment of online turbulence that will fade after the next viral sensation? Even outside BTS's core fandom, social analysts and digital culture researchers are now discussing the post as an example of the ever-growing pressure for idols to perform authenticity, often at the cost of their well-being. Is it fair to expect Jungkook to maintain this level of openness forever? Is it fair to criticize other idols who choose privacy? Is the real issue the idols or the fans who constantly compare them? And most importantly, what does it reveal about a generation that increasingly measures love, sincerity, and loyalty through online engagement? For now, the viral clip remains a battleground of emotions: admiration, frustration, pride, protectiveness, nostalgia, and the age-old K-pop instinct to defend one's favorite artist at all costs. Jungkook himself, as usual, has remained silent. But perhaps that silence speaks the loudest. Because at the end of the day, he never asked to be compared. He never asked to be placed on a pedestal that diminishes others. He never asked for fans to weaponize his kindness against someone else. He simply shared his life because he wanted to. And that simplicity, ironically, is the very thing that makes him so beloved and yet so frequently misunderstood. As for the term boring doll, it now hangs in the digital air like a whisper waiting to explode into a scream. Which idol was it meant for? Will the indirect jab escalate into an open fandom war? Or will time dissolve the tension as quickly as it appeared? Only the coming days will reveal how far this ripple spreads. For now, one thing is certain: a 19-second clip has once again proven that Jungkook doesn't need scandals, promotions, or grand announcements to dominate the global conversation. All he needs is authenticity, and the world reacts. Whether with love or controversy, the world always reacts. And as users continue to replay the clip, argue in comments, share fan theories, and brace for whatever comes next, one question echoes across feeds worldwide: is this just the beginning of another fandom storm, or the moment K-pop finally confronts its obsession with comparing idols? Time, as always, will decide. If you wish to watch the full video that started this global debate, you can. Find it on the original X post from @StarBoyJins, a clip that was never meant to become a battlefield, yet somehow, inevitably, did. The storm did not settle overnight. Instead, it grew, stretching beyond the initial circle of ARMY accounts, reaching entertainment journalists, digital culture commentators, and even casual users who typically scroll past K-pop discussions without a second thought. The debate that began with a clip of Jungkook rinsing dishes had evolved into a full-scale examination of fandom ethics, idol authenticity, and the lines between adoration and obsession. But why Jungkook? Why does he, more than almost any other idol, consistently become the center of conversations that are larger than himself? Part of the answer lies in the paradox of his fame. Jungkook is both intensely global and intimately personal. He is a superstar who fills stadiums, tops global charts, influences fashion houses, and breaks streaming records, but somehow still manages to appear like the boy next door, sharing moments that feel as familiar as a friend calling you on a lazy evening. This duality is rare in pop culture, the ability to be both unreachable and accessible. And that very quality, cherished by millions, becomes combustible in the digital age, because when someone feels close to a global figure, they also feel the urge to defend him with a level of intensity that most cannot comprehend. This is where the word boring doll becomes more than an insult. It becomes a trigger. It pries open wounds within fandom culture, issues that have long simmered beneath the surface. It reignites old debates. Who interacts enough? Who shares enough? Who reveals enough? Who cares enough? Suddenly, the expectations placed upon idols become a competition, one that Jungkook never intended to participate in, yet his name is once again being used as a measuring stick for authenticity, and that creates a new wave of tension. One of the most striking parts of this unfolding story is how users began analyzing not just the clip, but the emotional weight behind it. Many began discussing how Jungkook's natural comfort in front of fans is tied to a bond he built over more than a decade, one constructed slowly, through consistent sincerity rather than curated perfection. "You can feel that he doesn't fake it," wrote one user in a thread that gained thousands of impressions. When Jungkook cooks on live, he isn't trying to impress anyone. He's just being himself. That's the difference. But immediately, others pushed back. No idol should be forced to act the same way. Another user argued, openness doesn't equal sincerity. Privacy doesn't equal coldness. This triggered another wave of commentary, people arguing not over Jungkook himself, but over what he represents. For some, he is the gold standard of fan engagement. For others, he is simply someone doing things his way. A human being with his own rhythms, moods, and boundaries. What complicates the situation further is the fandom behavior surrounding him. Because regardless of the innocence behind his actions, the reactions of fans around him often shape the narrative, and the internet knows no mercy when it comes to framing stories. But is it fair to drag Jungkook into a controversy he did not create? The irony is painful. A video of him doing chores, smiling softly, and enjoying simple pleasures was meant to remind the world of his down-to-earth nature. Instead, it became a battleground of insecurity and rivalry between fandoms who know nothing of each other's lives beyond profile pictures and 280-character comments. The conversation grows deeper when experts begin to weigh in. Digital culture analysts note that parasocial relationships, the imagined one-sided emotional bonds between fans and public figures, have intensified in a world where technology blurs the boundary between private and public. Jungkook, with his open live streams, casual demeanor, and willingness to share personal habits, becomes a prime example of how intimacy can be perceived as ownership. Fans feel connected to him, but that connection sometimes becomes a weapon. A reason to fight, a reason to compare, a reason to demand more. And Jungkook, perhaps unknowingly, stands at the heart of it all. Many fans began reflecting on whether their love has turned into pressure. Whether their desire for more access has inadvertently created unrealistic expectations, not just for Jungkook, but for other idols who choose privacy for the sake of their mental health. The comment section of the viral post is now a living museum of contrasting truths: love and frustration, admiration and jealousy, loyalty and resentment. The clash of emotions reflects a truth that few want to admit. Fans sometimes forget idols are human. And if this incident teaches anything, it is that even the most innocent clip can unravel complex, often uncomfortable truths about the culture surrounding fandom relationships. As the debate grew, users began digging deeper into the term boring doll. Who was the target? Was it an entire group? A specific idol? Someone with a history of being quiet online? Someone with a more guarded personality? Speculation became theory. Theory became accusation. and accusation became conflict. Some fandoms began issuing defensive statements, insisting their idols were being targeted unfairly. Others accused ARMY of overreacting. Others claimed this was all a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But the most balanced voices, though fewer, asked a more profound question. Why are we fighting over who is a better idol when they are all people doing their best? This is where the story takes a reflective turn, because while this controversy could have ended in a typical fandom war, it instead exposed something deeper, a collective longing for connection. Fans want to feel seen. They want to feel appreciated. Jungkook, with his warmth, makes them feel that way. And that comfort becomes fragile when compared to idols who interact differently.